She doesn't walk to the gate, she arrives. A towering silhouette, ears flicking, hooves tapping that signature pre-race dance. The crowd hushes, then hums, then holds its breath. This isn't just a mare, this is a phenomenon. 19 straight wins, a barrier-breaking classic, a final heartbreak that made her legend bigger. Tonight, you won't just watch Zenyatta, you'll feel her. The queen is here. The ritual begins. Watch the pattern. Calm at the back, chaos up front. She waits, coiled, patient, almost daring you to doubt. Then the far turn. Stride lengthens. Ground disappears. Rivals become silhouettes, swallowed by momentum. 19 times, inevitability felt like magic. 13 grade ones, each a chapter in dominance. And then the night she beat the best males in the world, the Breeders' Cup Classic, history rewritten in a single sweeping move. This isn't luck, it's orchestration, it's theater, it's Zenyatta. Now hold the breath, because even legends fracture. The final race, the perfect ending within reach. She comes from the impossible, surges to the wire, and loses by a nose. Silence. Then something deeper. Respect, awe, devotion. Her record, 20 starts, 19 wins, 1 second, becomes more than numbers. It becomes a testament to heart. Awards follow, a Hall of Fame crown, and a global fan base that didn't just cheer victories, they believed in her ritual, her charisma, her courage. Zenyatta didn't just win. She made you feel the win. And that feeling never fades. She didn't just enter the paddock, she arrived. Zenyatta's presence felt like weather rolling in. Towering, deliberate, impossible to ignore. The camera found her. The crowd leaned forward, and the air tightened with anticipation. Before the gate, she performed her ritual. The signature pre-race dance. A slow, deliberate prance that looked like a queen testing the ground before claiming it. Head high, ears flicking, hooves tapping a rhythm only she could hear. It wasn't showmanship, it was sovereignty. Fans didn't just watch Zenyatta, they waited for her. The moment she stepped onto the track, the noise changed. It wasn't a roar yet, it was a hum, a collective breath held in the chest of thousands. She moved with a calm that felt like a secret, as if she knew the ending and was letting everyone else catch up. That dance wasn't nerves, it was a signal, a promise. The queen is here. The script begins now. Her charisma wasn't manufactured, it was magnetic. She was massive, elegant, and somehow gentle until the race began. That contrast hooked people. The soft eyes, the playful steps, the quiet confidence that turned into thunder when the gates opened. Zenyatta made racing feel personal. She didn't just run, she performed. She gave audiences a ritual to love, a rhythm to anticipate, a moment to believe in. And belief is the engine of fandom. Children pointed, veterans nodded, cameras chased her like a comet. The dance became a myth. The myth became a movement. People came not just to see if she would win, but to feel that pre-race electricity, the transformation from calm to command. She made the minutes before the break as thrilling as the stretch drive. That's rare. That's aura. When she walked to the gate, the world narrowed to her silhouette. The crowd's hum sharpened into a pulse. She lowered her head, settled, and the ritual ended. The queen had finished her prelude. The performance was next. Zenyatta's aura wasn't about dominance alone. It was about invitation. She invited you into the story, let you feel the suspense, then delivered the release. That's why she became a fan favorite. She turned racing into theater, ritual into religion, and victory into communion. The dance wasn't just a quirk, it was the crown. And every time she wore it, the sport felt bigger, brighter, and more alive. Zenyatta's career was more than numbers, but the numbers themselves were staggering. 19 consecutive victories, 13 Grade 1 triumphs, a streak that stretched across seasons, surfaces, and distances, each win layering myth upon myth until she became untouchable. Every time she entered the gate, the question wasn't if she would win, it was how. Would she storm from last with her trademark closing kick? Would she toy with rivals, waiting until the final furlong to unleash? The suspense wasn't about defeat, it was about the artistry of dominance. Her undefeated run wasn't built on easy fields. She conquered champions, toppled colts, and rewrote expectations for mares in elite company. The 2009 Breeders' Cup Classic was the crown jewel. Zenyatta, the first female ever to win, storming past a world-class field in a finish that felt cinematic. That victory didn't just extend her streak, it shattered barriers, proving that greatness knows no gender. Fans lived inside that streak. Each race became a ritual of inevitability, a collective gasp as she lingered at the back, a crescendo as she surged past the helpless pack. 19 times the script played out. 19 times the Queen delivered. And with every win, her aura grew heavier, her legend taller. Zenyatta's undefeated streak wasn't just dominance. It was drama, theater, and history unfolding stride by stride. It cemented her as more than a champion. It made her eternal. It was the night Zenyatta stepped beyond dominance and into immortality. The Breeders' Cup Classic had never been won by a female. The field was stacked with world-class colts, champions from across the globe, each carrying the weight of expectation. And then there was Zenyatta, towering, calm, prancing her ritual dance, as if she knew history was waiting at the wire. The gates opened, and she did what only she could, lingered at the back, letting the others burn themselves out. The crowd held its breath, knowing the script, but still desperate to see it unfold. Then, in the far turn, she moved. That massive stride lengthened, her frame devoured ground, and one by one, the colts fell behind her. The roar built into thunder as she surged past them all, sweeping wide, unstoppable. When she crossed the line first, the impossible became fact. Zenyatta, the mare, had beaten the best males in the world. The Breeders' Cup Classic was hers. The streak continued, but more importantly, the barrier shattered. She wasn't just undefeated, she was revolutionary. That night, Zenyatta didn't just win a race. She rewrote the sport's history, proving that greatness has no boundaries, no gender, no limits. It was the moment her legend crystallized, the moment fans realized they weren't just watching a champion, they were witnessing a queen who had claimed her crown on the grandest stage of all. Zenyatta didn't just win races, she orchestrated them. Her style was unlike anything the sport had seen. A towering mare who deliberately lingered at the back, almost daring the crowd to doubt her. While rivals fought for position, burning energy in the early fractions, she waited. Calm, patient, coiled. It was theater disguised as tactics. Every race became a suspense film. Fans knew she would come, but the question was always when. The tension built as she trailed far behind, sometimes more than a dozen lengths off the leaders. Commentators gasped, audiences leaned forward, and hearts raced. Then, in the far turn, the transformation began. Her stride lengthened, her frame devoured ground, and the helpless pack ahead became prey. She didn't just pass horses, she overwhelmed them. Her closing kick was cinematic, wide, sweeping, unstoppable. The crowd's hum exploded into thunder as she surged past, turning inevitability into ecstasy. That style hooked audiences because it wasn't just dominance, it was drama. Zenyatta made every race a story, every finish a climax. She turned the track into a stage, suspense into spectacle, and victory into ritual. That's why fans adored her. She didn't simply win, she made them feel the win. Every legend carries a moment of fracture, and for Zenyatta, it came in her final race. The 2010 Breeders' Cup Classic was supposed to be her coronation, the perfect ending to a flawless career. 19 wins, undefeated, adored by millions, the Queen returning to claim her 20th jewel. The crowd was electric, the cameras locked, the stage set for immortality. The gates opened, and the familiar script began. Zenyatta lingered at the back, trailing far behind, her massive frame moving with patience. The tension built as she swept into the far turn, unleashing that devastating stride. One by one, she devoured her rivals, the roar rising into thunder. It looked inevitable until the wire. Blame, a colt with grit, held on by a nose. Zenyatta's streak was broken. The silence that followed was heavier than any cheer. Fans wept, commentators faltered, and the sport itself seemed stunned. Yet in that loss, her legend deepened. She had fought from impossible margins, nearly defying physics, and even in defeat, she inspired awe. Her record closed at 20 starts, 19 wins, 1 second. But the numbers don't tell the whole story. That final race wasn't a failure. It was proof of her courage, her heart, her refusal to yield. The heartbreak became part of her myth, a reminder that even queens bleed, and that vulnerability makes greatness unforgettable. Zenyatta's finale was not the end of dominance. It was the birth of legacy. When Zenyatta's career closed, the trophies told one story, but the love she commanded told another. She wasn't just a champion on paper, she was a phenomenon honored at every level of the sport. In 2010, after her breathtaking near miss in the Breeders' Cup Classic, the racing world gave her its highest crown, Horse of the Year. It was more than an award. It was a recognition that her dominance, charisma, and cultural impact had transcended the track. She had already been named Champion Older Female 3 years in a row, 2008, 2009, and 2010, a streak that mirrored her own undefeated run. But the accolades didn't stop there. In 2016, Zenyatta was inducted into the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame, cementing her place among the immortals. Her name now sits alongside the greatest legends, a permanent reminder of the Mare who redefined possibility. Beyond official honors, her recognition lived in the hearts of fans. She was celebrated in magazines, documentaries, and even pop culture references. Crowds didn't just cheer her victories, they adored her rituals, her dance, her personality. She became a symbol of resilience and showmanship, a queen whose reign extended far beyond the wire. Awards validated her greatness, but the true recognition was the way she made people feel. Zenyatta wasn't just a horse who won races. She was a force who united audiences, inspired belief, and left a legacy that trophies alone could never capture. Zenyatta wasn't just a racehorse, she was a cultural phenomenon. Her towering frame, her playful pre-race dance, and her dramatic racing style made her more than an athlete. She became a symbol of charisma, resilience, and showmanship. Crowds didn't simply cheer her victories, they adored her presence. She turned racetracks into theaters, transforming each race into a ritual that fans anticipated like a concert or a film premiere. Her impact stretched far beyond the sport. Zenyatta drew mainstream media attention, appearing in magazines, documentaries, and even late-night television segments. She became a household name, bridging the gap between hardcore racing fans and casual audiences who were captivated by her personality. Children wore her merchandise, adults traveled across states just to witness her dance, and her fan base grew into a global community. She also reshaped perceptions of female athletes in racing. By defeating elite male horses in the Breeders' Cup Classic, she challenged long-standing gender barriers and inspired conversations about equality in sport. Her victories weren't just wins, they were statements. Zenyatta's cultural footprint is measured not only in trophies, but in the emotions she stirred. She gave fans a reason to believe in magic, to feel suspense, to celebrate dominance wrapped in grace. Even after retirement, her legacy lived on through fan clubs, social media tributes, and her influence on future generations of racing. Zenyatta wasn't just a mare who made history, she was a queen who made racing feel alive, accessible, and unforgettable. Zenyatta's story didn't end at the wire. It began there. Her record speaks with authority. 20 starts, 19 wins, 1 second-place finish, and over $7.3 million in earnings. But numbers alone cannot capture the gravity of her legacy. She was more than a mare who made history. She was a phenomenon who redefined what greatness looked like in horse racing. Her undefeated streak, her Breeders' Cup Classic triumph, and even her heartbreaking finale became chapters in a narrative that transcended sport. Fans didn't just remember her victories. They remembered the feeling of watching her, the suspense, the ritual dance, the surge from behind. Zenyatta turned racing into theater and her audience into believers. Her legacy lives in the Hall of Fame, in the countless articles and documentaries, and in the hearts of those who witnessed her reign. She inspired new generations of fans, reshaped perceptions of female athletes, and proved that dominance could be graceful, charismatic, and unforgettable. Even in retirement, Zenyatta remained a queen. Her name still echoes in conversations about the greatest of all time. Her aura still lingers in the sport she elevated. She was not just a horse who won races. She was a force who united people, stirred emotions, and left a mark that will never fade. Zenyatta's legacy is eternal because she gave racing something rare, not just victories, but memories that feel like destiny. She was more than a racehorse, she was a force of nature. Zenyatta danced before the gates, stormed from behind, and carried millions on her back with every stride. 19 victories, 1 heartbreaking loss, and a legacy that transcends numbers. She shattered barriers, redefined dominance, and gave racing its queen. Even in silence, her aura roars. Even in retirement, her story breathes. Zenyatta didn't just win races, she made us believe in magic. And that belief, that feeling, is eternal. The Queen's reign never ends.